Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will be showing you how I made this card for the MFT color challenge. I can't remember the number right off the bat, but I used MFT's Space Explorer stamp set. I used the small and large stars as well as the little astronaut boy with the 3 star balloons. To stamp my little stars I am using Hero Arts colors in Tangerine, Lemon Drop, and Key Lime Fizz. I'm just going to randomly stamp both the small and large stars all over my background panel. Something you will notice, after I ink up both of the stamps, I do kind of stamp it off onto the scrap piece of paper. I do this between color changes, but also before, because this particular stamp set still has black ink on it from where I had stamped it the first time. Now, I do better when I am making a card and I'm stamping things. I usually clean them off, but when I first get a stamp set, I will ink it up and stamp it onto a piece of paper that I stick in my binder. And my binder just has a bunch of sheet protectors in it, and this just makes sort of a catalog for me so that I can look through the binder without having to go through every single stamp set that I have. So if you guys want to see that at some point, I'll gladly show you. It's nothing special, but I also keep record of my marker colors, my paint colors, Arteza Real Brush pens, embossing powders, alcohol inks, all that stuff. I make sure that I have some kind of sample so that I can just see it all in front of me, and it gives me a better idea of what possibilities I have for a specific card. I know you guys have noticed my lack of videos lately. My internet was acting weird. It cut out. We've had a lot of power outages. I think it kind of messed up the modem. So it might be fixed now. Still kind of, it's kind of sporadic sometimes. Sometimes it wants to work really well, and then other times not so much. I know in the past I've had phones that act kind of weird. Didn't want to connect to Wi-Fi the way they were supposed to, so I don't know if it's my phone, still other problems with the modem, there's something else going on. But anyway, I will try to post another video soon after this one. Alright, back to the card. Still stamping out little stars. Just trying to make sure I don't have any really large gaps. I also didn't really want a bunch of the same color next to each other. No, 3 colors, it's kind of unavoidable. So doing what we can, get it filled in. Now, I am going to stamp my little astronaut boy. To color my astronaut, I am going to be using Copics in YG01, 03, and 05, Y00, Y11, Y15, YR02, YR04, YR07, and C0, C1, C3, and C5. As I'm coloring the balloons, I'm using pretty minimal shading, and I'm only really making shadows where the little arms connect. And I say arms because I keep thinking of starfish. They're maybe the points where the points connect. I don't know. There's probably a better way to describe that. I'm not great with words, if you guys haven't noticed. But anyway, you can see what I'm doing. It's minimal shading, just in certain areas, and I think it mostly gives the desired effect. And you can always look at star-shaped balloons to get a better idea of how they're shaded. I do this with some things. These balloons was not one of them. While I don't have anything to add at this particular moment about my coloring, I would like to announce that at some point, I'm not sure when yet, I will be doing a giveaway. I have a few different stamp sets, stencils, and distress oxides that I have tucked away for a giveaway. Now, my question for everyone who is interested in this is, what items are you the most interested in? Alright, so back to the coloring. For the spacesuit, I usually try to leave it a little bit more white, but today I made it a little bit more gray looking because gray was one of the color challenge colors. So I went a little bit darker and heavier with the darker grays. For some reason, when I color the spacesuits, I always have a really hard time picking the colors. Like, they're usually white, so I leave them white, but all the little detail pieces, I always feel like I need to add color somewhere, and that's where I struggle. I don't know why I struggle so much, you guys. I have another stamp set that has little, what is it, cats, dogs, and bunnies space suited critters, I don't know. It's from Mama Elephant. It's so cute, but I just fail when it comes to figuring out colors for that. For this one, because I already had a limited color palette, I didn't have a whole lot of options. So I did my green, I did my yellow, did a little bit of orange, and I just left it at that. So for the skin color, I used, that was really quick, E50, E51, and E53. I did a little bit of R30 for the cheeks, just to give them a little bit of color. And then when I move on to the hair, I use E23, E27, and E49. I know that hasn't showed up on the screen yet. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Oh, I have to do things when my toddler's asleep. There it is. E23, 27, and 49. Generally, when I color hair, I try to do a little bit of the darker part at both ends of the hair, I guess. The ones towards the scalp and the ends that are, you know, free hanging. But the hair for this is too short for that, and it looks weird, and there's not enough color variation, so I just stuck with darker at the top all the way to lightest at the bottom. I guess it turned out alright. Now I'm using my Jelly Roll white in size 10 as well as my black glaze pen. I'm just fixing any little errors where I got marker outside of my lines. I'm going to give the balloons a few highlights. I'm going to use the black glaze gel pen to darken the eyes a little bit. And then I also add just a little bit of shine on the spacesuit helmet, just to make it look like it's not an empty section that's over his face, if that makes any sense. And then, because I don't have the die for this particular stamp, and I don't know if it cuts out between the balloons or not, I use my brother's Scan and Cut. I am cutting out the centers of the balloon strings just with my X-Acto knife. It's not perfect, but you're really not going to notice. Alright, and here I am making sure that my green panel is just a little bit larger than my star panel so that I'll have a little bit of a border. And for this, I'm just using my X-Acto knife, and this is actually a quilt square ruler. And this helps me get pretty straight lines. Right now, my paper trimmer is a little bit dull, so I need to switch the blades. Now here I'm using my envelope maker from We Are Memory Keepers, and it has the little rounded corner trimmer. And I'm also here cutting my card base. This is originally a 5x7 card base. I'm just cutting it down to the right size. Now I usually buy 5x7 card bases because sometimes I like having a really large card base, and then other times I have weird sizes. I don't often have a standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card or a 5x7 card. I get like weird measurements in between just to give me enough room to have the different borders and include different elements. So don't be afraid to use a different card base size than what is typically used. Alright, back to the card. Here I am lining up my sentiment. This is from the same stamp set. I know. I don't usually do this. But today I did. I used one stamp set for the whole thing. It's crazy. I'm sure a lot of people do this, but I just don't usually. I kept it simple, and then I decided that I wanted my little astronaut popped up just a little bit. So I used some foam tape to go around the back to adhere him to my star panel. Now I'm going to take my liquid glue and I'm going to attach the green panel to the card base, and then I'm going to attach the star panel to the green panel. I do this before I attach my little astronaut just because I felt like it would be easier to press the panels down if my little astronaut wasn't up there, since he was not going to be adhered flat onto my panel. After I attach him, my card is finished. Thank you all so much for watching.